everybody, welcome back to Pushing Pixels, part 2 of our Photoshop World sort of ad. I don't know if you remember, but last time we built this rectangular badge here. So keep that close by because we're going to reuse that. And we're going to reuse it in this little project that I already have going. And this project is the exact same size as the previous 1920 by 1080. And as you can see, I already got a text element going on a black background. And I also have this concrete background we're going to use a little bit later. But before we get to that, let's do the text. So let's continue. Like I said, I already have the gradient going, and I didn't want to bore you with the gradient I made. I just used one from the previous tutorial, the Ultimate Metals gradient that I got from Brush Easy. So let's continue. I'm going to move this over just a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Effects, and I'm going to now apply a stroke. And I'm going to set that stroke to about 4. And I'm going to pick a new gradient, kind of the one I used on that badge. This guy here. Excuse me. And we're also going to apply a bevel emboss to this. Now I got my depth set at about 145. And I turned the opacity on the white down to 35. And I also got my size set to 2. And I might set that just a little bit higher, 2 or 3. But most importantly, I have the gloss contour set to ring, and that is this guy right here. And when you do that, you get a nice bevel emboss, and it gives a little bit of depth and a little bit of sheen around the rim, and it looks really good. So we're going to keep that, and that's pretty much how I built this text element. I also should need to apply a drop shadow. Let me turn that off. Let's apply a drop shadow here real quick. 75 looks good, distance about 15, and the size about 3. That looks pretty good too. Alright, not bad. Now, truth be told, I had already done this. I just kind of wanted to show you how I built this text element and what layer effects I used. So I have that, and it says Photoshop World, and underneath it I have this piece of concrete. And we're going to work with that, and I got this, I believe I got it from iStock Photo. So let's bring the blacks out in this a little bit more. Command L, and I'm going to drag my slider over on my levels till the edges get a little dark. Not bad, that looks good. Let's duplicate that, Command J, and I'm going to set that duplicated layer to overlay. I'm sorry, to multiply. And that's going to get super dark, but it's going to work in our favor here in a minute. I'm going to merge those two layers. I'm going to select those, and Command E will merge those layers. Okay, new layer above that. I'm going to call this layer, I'm not going to call it that. Come on. There we go. Stripe, S-T-R-I-P-E. And with my marquee tool, I'm just going to grab a selection and drag it out. And this is going to be like the stripe on a road. And I'm going to fill it with yellow. And I just use the stock yellow out of my swatches. Alt-Delete, because yellow is my foreground, and fill that like that, just like a stripe on the road. Deselect my selection, and this layer will get set to soft light, and that looks pretty good. And now you can see the cracks in the road coming through and whatnot. And I'm just going to bring the opacity down just a little bit, maybe 90, 92. So I'm going to leave it at 90. Not bad. Alright, the other thing we need to do is I'm going to put a tire tread on this road. So new layer, and if I go to my brushes, I have downloaded a set of brushes from Brush Easy again called, I believe it's called Tank. Let's find that out. It's called Tank Pattern Grunge Brushes, and it's just got a bunch of tire treads on it. And with black selected as my foreground, you can see kind of what it's going to do. I'm going to size it up quite a bit here. And let's see right there. And with just black as my foreground, I'm going to select that piece of road there. Now, a little bit heavy, but if we set this to soft light, it'll get a little bit softer. You'll see the road come through, and that looks pretty. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that again. Soft light. That looks pretty good. And over the yellow stripe, it looks even better. Now, I'm going to bring in my badge here. Let me open up this other project. And I've already compressed it to one layer, so if I hold down Shift and drag across, you see my badge. And turn the text back on, and now you can really kind of see what is going on here. And I'm going to drag it over here a little bit. And free transform, just shrink it a little bit. And then I am going to hit distort and grab this top one and skew it so it kind of matches what's going, the slope or the italics of the text. And not bad. Looks pretty good there. Just move it over a little bit and duplicate that layer. Command J. I'm going to slide over my new one, give it some space. Looks pretty good. I'm going to merge those two now. Command E, and then duplicate that layer and drag over one more set. And then duplicate that again and drag over one more set. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to merge all those together. Command E, and maybe just thin them out just a bit. And line them up behind this text a little bit. Pretty cool. Things are already looking good. Now that we've got the badges in, let's do some glow across this text. New layer, and I'm going to hit D and X and reset my white. And go to my brushes, and I'm going to completely reset my brushes back to normal. I'm going to grab like a soft edge brush, maybe 65. Yeah, that might work. And make sure my brush engine has everything turned off on it. There we go. Let's turn off everything. Perfect. And I'm going to start on the left side of my text here. Actually, it's got to go above the text layer. I'm going to start on the left side and click, and then hold down my shift button and then click on the right, and that will draw a line straight across my text. Why am I doing this? Let me tell you why. Because if I command click my Photoshop text layer, I'm going to get the selection of that text, and then I'm going to invert that selection. Command Shift Command I will select the outside of that text and hit delete with my new line layer selected. And that'll get rid of that. Line is still there, you can kind of see, but now when I blur it, filter, Gaussian blur, and let's say we set that to, I don't know, 10. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. We get the soft glow halo effect over it, and let me show you what it looks like there. Not too bad. Now we got to do two of these because we got to do it for the text below, but that's a smaller piece of text. So again, with the same brush, I'm going to size it down a bit so it's a smaller piece of text. And on a brand new layer, click there and hold down my shift and click across. Using the world as the text layer as my selection, click and command click that, and then shift invert, command shift I, and delete. And it is still there. You can see it right there. And I'm going to command F to repeat that filter effect. And there you go. Pretty nice. Looking really, really nice and professional. I'm going to merge those two as well. And let's keep going. We're almost done, believe it or not. Let's put some flares on this and make it look nice. Brand new layer. Back to brushes, and I'm going to load a set of brushes that I always love to use. You've seen me use them before. 8 Suns. Again, brush easy. And I'm going to grab this one that looks like this crescent halo sort of deal, and with white as my foreground color. I'm going to squish this down quite a bit and put, maybe not that far, and put one right there. And I can get rid of the rest if I want. I'm just going to pick a soft edge, reset brushes. I'm going to pick a soft edge eraser brush, turn the opacity down to 50, and just erase the parts I don't want. Not bad. Let's put in another lens flare, brand new layer, back to brushes, back to 8 Suns, and this one's another type of lens flare, and it's pretty huge, and I'm going to put it right about here with white again as my color, right on the corner. Looking pretty good. One last thing we need to do to really sell the soap on this. I'm going to move this yellow line down a little bit and maybe off the page just a hair so we get some sort of continuity going here. One last deal. New layer on top of everything. Fill it with black. And black is my background color, so Command Delete. And I'm going to turn the opacity down just a hair so I can see my image through, because we are going to go to Filters and apply a lens flare. And yeah, I'm going to use this sort of pink one. It's this 50 to 300 zoom. And I'm going to set the brightness to 100 and kind of try to put it where someplace, I want it to be somewhere around in here, or maybe even on the text. I'm going to put it right about there, see if that works. No, you may have a little trial and error on this thing. A little bit higher. For the sake of argument, let's do that. Turn my opacity back up, and I am going to set this to overlay. Let's see if this works. It kind of did. Let's see if I bring it down a bit. Not too bad. A little heavy-handed, but it really helps bring out the vignette of this image, and probably maybe want to even place it somewhere else. You know what? Let's go back in time here a little bit. I want to let's go back to that new layer. I'm going to try it again. I want to put it somewhere else. Hide that. Filter. Render lens flare. Let's put it, I don't know, over here somewhere. See what happens. Yeah, maybe. Again, overlay. Bring it out where colors really pop on that, and bring it down a bit. And add some pink in there. And makes it look pretty good. Hey, and that's how you make a nice little ad. We used a bunch of patterns, mostly layer styles, and a couple brushes, and it looks really good and solid, and a nice little ad. Hey everybody, thanks for hanging out. If you have any questions, you know where to find me on Facebook on our Pushing Pixels channel, or you can leave us a note over on the Corey Barker fan page. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. Hey you guys, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.